Hello everyone, welcome into episode 6 of Paperhats Season 3. I'm Dr. Yankovic, and today is the day that I actually come through with all my promises that I've been making to actually build something here on the mountain. If you're not caught up, in the last episode, we went on over to the mesa and put a floor down so we can start putting up farms and things, but today, as promised, I want to stay over here at the base and actually focus on a few things. Now, originally I told you that I would do our first build over there, but actually I want to do something a little more than that. See, this whole mountain range kind of it's kind of a crescent, I guess you could say. I think that's the right word for it. What I basically want to do, and I will talk a little more about this later, I don't really want to bore you with details just yet, but we've got a really nice stretch of mountains here, and one idea that I really want to do is actually put a path. I'm not really sure how the path is going to look. I'm not really sure if I'm going for a modern type path or something that looks a little bit older, but regardless, it's going to look great. But I do want a path that runs along the entire stretch of mountains, and then along there we're going to have chalets and different builds and things like that. So first of all, we have to do a little bit of clearing, flattening up, and just overall preparing. Now, down here in the cave, I have done a ton of resource gathering. See, I have an entire shulker of ink sacks, gravel, sand. I've got a couple of shulkers of each, and I actually do need some more stone. So I'm going to take a second. It will literally just be a second for you guys, but for me it may take some time. But I'm going to go take a second and get some building supplies, things that I'll need to actually complete this, and then I'll meet you back here when I'm done. Well, that didn't take too long. I've got almost a shulker of stone here just to have a little bit of extra, and I figured I'd only get a shulker because I'm going to end up having a lot extra. That's because a lot of what I need to do here to prepare for this build is actually flatten a lot of this out. I wanted some extra so I can just sort of cover things up here, because what we're doing is making a path. Currently now the mountain is pretty jagged actually, like over there. So I'm probably going to cut that down a little bit and maybe bridge across that gap right there a little bit just to even it out. I don't want it too jagged, and I really don't want to take away from the feeling of the mountain itself. So I'm going to have the path rise and fall along with this as much as I can, but currently now it does need to be a little smoother. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous about it because honestly I've never planned out a build as large as this. I got to take care of this creeper here. I've never planned a build this large actually, so we'll see how we do. I am just going to probably just start replay mod and get a time lapse rolling. So I hope it turns out well, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Here it goes. all I can say is, wow, what a time lapse. That was a big one. One thing that made me quit, because what I wanted to do actually was grind out this entire project in the same time lapse. But one thing that made me stop was the time lapse is getting rather long. Also, I'm still not completely sure what I'm doing, but I have learned a lot, and this is actually pretty fun once I've sat down, planned things out, and just went for it. I think it turned out really great. There are a couple things I may change. Like, I may add a little bit of andesite in the stone, because that's just a really contrasty. They're just the green to the plain stone. I might add some andesite around the green just to add a different color. But all in all, I think it really turned out well. I wanted these little crevices here that give another contrast color. So to break up the stone a little bit, that's something that I did really well. And I wanted to add a little bit of moss, which I will talk about in a few minutes. But yeah, the video would have been just gigantic if I did this whole thing, and maybe in the future I can do another time lapse finishing it, but most likely I will probably just be grinding the rest of this project out on stream. But you saw the best part of it, the beginning, just to see where my head's at. And one thing I'm really excited for is I'm excited for when I finally get all the way down to the end there, is how much better it will look than this end. Because one thing I've noticed is as I start projects, they're a little shaky on the beginning, but as soon as I get to the end, it looks a lot better. For example, this over here, this part, this is the end I started with. It's a little blockier and a little chunkier, but as you get over here, it looks a little more natural and well blended. So I'm always learning, and this is my first project like this, I suppose, just straight terraforming all the way down. I did a little bit of that in season 1, but it was nowhere near this big, so we'll see what happens. So now that I have a pretty strong start to my project here, what's next is organization. All these shulker boxes here, they're no good. We're going to have to do something about that. Give me just a second, and I might just label some barrels or something simple like that. So, yeah, give me just a second. I'll try to have this cleaned up. Well, I think I did a pretty good job. Look at this. I actually got rid of this portal here, and I moved it over here just out of the way, so we have a lot bigger of a space. I really forgot how big this cave was, actually. It's really nice. I need to hang some glowberries and stuff from the ceiling, just to make it look a little bit better. And also, we need to develop up there under the road a little bit. But as you can see here, I got a pretty decent storage system, and honestly, I think this is all I'm going to need for the rest of the season. I may do an auto-sorted thing with the stone and things that I mine. But other than that, you know, I can use shulkers to kind of just organize these barrels and store a ton in them. So I think I'm good there. Earlier, I mentioned we would talk about the moss on the side of the mountain a little bit, and you know, that probably wasn't significant, but there is some meaning behind it. During the stream that I was grinding most of this work I've already done, we had a little bit of a discussion about the future of my base. And actually, I've had a bit of a change of heart. Initially, what I wanted to do is have like a village of chalets and really nice kind of modern houses and things like that all around along the road, and it would just turn the landscape into like a resort, I suppose. But I think I've had a little bit of a change of heart. I may do some of that also, but what I want to do is incorporate something big for each of the members of Paperhats. For example, the one we came up on stream is Jan really likes dragons in the color purple, so I might put a big purple dragon on the side of the mountain. And the moss, although I need to put a lot more moss and decorate it a lot more with flowers and such, but that is kind of Dakota's thing. So I really think that is a really creative idea, and I think I'm going to go through with that. I think I'm going to build things around my base that are sort of dedicated to all the members of Paperhats, and just have a really nice creative. It's going to add a lot more color and things like that, I think, so I'm really excited about that. So we're going to wrap things up here at Mr. Gold's Nether Portal, and the reason for that is he is actually paying me to build something at his base. What an honor. But he needs a staircase, I believe, done down to his storage system. I'm not going to show you exactly what in this episode. I'm going to leave that a surprise for the next episode. So we're going to take a break from the base. We're going to take a break from the industrial district, and we're going to focus on helping out one of the other Paperhats the next episode. I've got some really cool ideas for it, and I think it's going to be a really nice time lapse and project. So guys, thank you so much. Tune in to the next episode if you like what you see. Make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out with the algorithm. And if you want to get notified potentially about my future videos and never miss an episode, do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. So guys, thank you so much. I will see you next time. I really hope you liked this episode. And again, thanks so much. See you next time.